Fourth time in his career, he's gone for 150 or more rushing yards and 3 or more touchdowns in the same game. The only legends with more, 3 Hall of Famers, Jim Brown, Barry Sanders, and our LT. So let's talk about this Derrick Henry here. The Titans, they got the Colts in town, and D-Hall, Derrick Henry has just been smoking dudes now, since week 2, because it is week 3.
Yeah, Colleen, Derrick Henry is a man amongst boys out there. And I think about even myself having to hit a dude that big. And you can see it. You can see defensive backs and guys when he get in the secondary not wanting to tackle him. They start aiming around his ankles, and no one wants to hit a dude that big. And Tennessee has to continue to feed this guy. I felt like Tennessee, was going to be the front runners just kind of coming out of that division for the simple fact the way that they can play football. When you have Julio Jones on the outside and A.J. Brown, I know it's so tempting to want to drop back and throw the ball all the time because those dudes are beasts. But your bread is buttered by running with Derrick Henry, by getting guys to say, okay, look, we can't defend with 8. We might have to drop another or play some type of coverage, zero coverage, where those guys are truly one-on-one, and that's when Ryan Tannehill can excel. And so Tennessee has to continue to feed Derrick Henry. As you just stated, Colleen, this dude, when he runs for over 150, they are unstoppable. So they have to continue to feed him, and that will open things up on the outside versus the Colts.
And not only that, D-Hall, I didn't think it was possible for Tennessee to use Derrick Henry more than before, but new offensive coordinator Todd Downing, he's a pioneer. He's found a way. I love that Henry had a career-high 6 targets last week. He caught all 6 of those passes. I'm sensing a trend now. He's up to 9 catches on 10 targets through 2 games. So he's keeping it interesting, trying new things, doing it well. Also, I just want to point out Carson Wentz, obviously his 2 sprained ankles returned to practice yesterday. He's been moving around. He took part in the team session. He's listed officially as a limited participant in practice, a game time decision for tomorrow. But if he doesn't go, then you have someone who's kind of inexperienced as the backup. And, I thought it was really interesting when I was at Colts training camp this summer and talked to Frank Reich, who, of all people, backed up Jim Kelly. He knows the importance of a backup quarterback, especially behind Carson Wentz, who started off camp with an injury, with the foot surgery, and now they're in a situation where it's either going to be Jacob Eason or Brett Hundley. Brett Hundley said he'll be ready to go if he's called upon, but we'll have to wait and see what happens with the quarterback situation there. But Indy's not the only team trying to figure out things at that spot. Former Colt here, now Dolphin, Jacoby Brissett gets the start for Miami this week against the Raiders. Brissett's numbers as a starter, fine, 12 and 20 if you care about quarterback wins, but 31 touchdowns to 13 picks. That's important. Our Cameron Wolf in South Florida. The Sea Wolves, they're coast to coast today. He's here to be a professional and talk about the game. What's up?
Jacoby Brissett said this week, this isn't my offense. This isn't Tua's offense. This is the Dolphins' offense. And while that may be true, the Dolphins really need Jacoby to take ownership of this team in this important short period when he's the guy. We're expecting that to be a 1 to 3 weeks while Tua heals from his fractured ribs. But as far as Jacoby, I've talked to his teammates, and they seem to have a quiet confidence about him in a way unlike maybe your traditional backup quarterback. Albert Wilson told me this week that they don't believe they've taken a step back with Jacoby. Eric Rowe, the safety, said that although he's the number 2 here, he could be a starter at a lot of different places. And linebacker Jerome Baker said that Jacoby's experience will be a huge addition to this offense. Now, Jacoby can't do this alone, and one area I'm really looking at is this offensive line. They've struggled in the early part of the season, including 6 sacks versus the Bills and almost no penetration in the run game. They'll need to play better, and I'm expecting personnel changes this week, including one, Solomon Kinley, their left guard, moving to the bench. Another addition that should really help the Dolphins is Will Fuller making his debut this week. They believe his speed will be a huge factor in opening up this offense, and boy, they sure need a spark.
Thank you, Seawolf. Always good when we have more Seawolf in the show. Mike Robb, you heard him say the Dolphins teammates have confidence in Jacoby Brissett. Brissett has confidence in himself, saying after the game on Sunday, quote, "I'm a starter." He believes that. Now, he was with 2 teams before that didn't agree with that. I mean, the Patriots needed a quarterback at one point, did not call back Jacoby Brissett. The Colts needed a quarterback and decided to trade for Carson Wentz, and that's why Brissett landed in Miami. But a lot of folks around the league do believe that Brissett is a guy that can give you a spark, can fill in nicely for a couple of weeks. You heard Cameron say that it might be 1 to 3 weeks for Tua Tagovailoa, and he did. You look at the numbers, he had the interception and the numbers weren't great on Sunday, but he did have some drops, some balls that went through his receivers' hands on Sunday. So if those guys have the confidence in Brissett, they need to play like it. They need to respond just as much as he needs to respond. On the other side of this game, Mike Robb, Derek Carr has been playing some of the best football in his career. He has impressed a lot of people. What has he done to impress you?
Well, he's been very explosive in the passing game, Jeezy. I mean, when you look at this Las Vegas Raiders team, they want to be a physical team up front. They want to run Josh Jacobs. They want to be explosive in the passing game. But what happens is when you can get guys like Henry Ruggs to stretch the field, Darren Waller that you can, create a matchup on where you can get an explosive pass on, that just opens up every single thing in your playbook. I mean, Derek Carr's 15 touchdown passes, only 1 interception on deep passes since 2019. That leads the National Football League. And Jeezy, you've heard me talk about it for years. I don't need my franchise quarterback to be great when everything is peaches and cream and we're winning by 2 or 3 touchdowns. I don't need my quarterback to be great then. I need my quarterback to be great in money situations, third down, late in games. Derek Carr's 0 for 4 on deep passes in the first half. In the second half of games, Jeezy, 4 for 5, 161 passing yards, 2 touchdowns on deep passes in the second half and in overtime. That tells me that Derek Carr is waiting for the blitz. He's waiting for somebody to challenge this offense. And when he gets the look that he wants to get, I mean, it's all over. Like we saw in Baltimore week 1, we've seen it every single week that they've played. This is the top passing offense in all of the National Football League. So if they keep being explosive, man, Derek Carr he's on that MVP trajectory. He can definitely get it if he keeps it up.
Look, I go back to when John Gruden got there, folks saying, we know how John Gruden treats quarterback. It's only a matter of time before he falls out of love with Derek Carr. Then you go back to when this team made the trade, the Khalil Mack trade, and they had 5 first-round picks over 2 years, and folks said, hey, they've got the picks, and they've also got the ability to trade those picks. They're going to get themselves a quarterback. Never did over those 2 years. This team has had faith in Derek Carr. It is now being rewarded. We shall see if it continues. Thank you, Mike Robb. Colleen, back to you.
All right, Derek Carr, he's been chucking that ball down the field as well. I'm sure Sir Stats-A-Lot has some nugs on him. He also has some new followers. How about that? Up over 100 followers in just 2 blocks of the show.
He's still only following one.